The night was colder than usual. Jungkook ran through the dark alleyways of Seoul, his worn-out slippers nearly breaking with every step. His shirt was soaked from the rain, and his breath came in shaky puffs. But he didn't care. His mother needed medicine, and the landlord wanted rent. When he opened the door to their tiny one-room house, he found her coughing violently, her body trembling. "Mom! I'm here, please, hold on." He knelt beside her, brushing her damp hair back. They had nothing. No money. No food. No hope. Until one call changed everything. Jungkook stood nervously in front of the tall glass doors. His clothes were still wet, sticking to his skin. He felt small, so small. But when the door opened, everything felt colder. Behind the desk sat Kim Taehyung. Dark suit. Gold watch. No expression. He didn't even glance up as he said, "You're late." Jungkook bowed low. "Sorry, I came as fast as." Desperation is unattractive. "Sit." Jungkook clenched his fists and sat. This man, this powerful stranger, held the key to saving his mother. "You need money." "I need a husband." Jungkook looked up, eyes wide. What? Taehyung finally looked at him, his gaze sharp as ice. "It's a business deal. No feelings. No expectations. Just a ring on your finger for the public to see. You'll be well compensated. Enough to save your mother. But you'll be mine, at least in name." Jungkook's hands trembled. "Why me? Because you're invisible. No one will question it. And I know people like you, would do anything for money." It hurt. Every word cut deep. But he nodded. "I'll do it." Taehyung slid the contract across the table. "Sign it, Jungkook." "Welcome to your new life." Jungkook stared at his reflection in the mirror. The tuxedo didn't feel like his. It was tailored, flawless, expensive. Yet the boy inside it was still the same, raw, invisible, and unwanted. His fingers brushed the fabric nervously. There were no flowers. No music. No guests. Only silence. A wedding without love. A ceremony with no heart. Private hall in Taehyung's mansion. Taehyung walked in like he owned the air around him, composed, perfect, untouchable. He didn't even glance at Jungkook. "Let's get this over with." His voice was colder than the marble floors. Jungkook swallowed hard and nodded, holding back the sting in his eyes. A lawyer placed the documents on the table. No vows. No kiss. Just signatures. Taehyung signed first. Without hesitation. Without emotion. Jungkook hesitated for a moment. Then slowly signed his name. Just like that, he became Kim Jungkook, husband to a man who didn't love him. Later that night, the mansion was too quiet. Jungkook stood awkwardly in the massive bedroom, holding a pillow. "You can take the couch," Taehyung said casually, loosening his tie. Jungkook nodded. He didn't cry. Not yet. He simply laid on the couch and stared at the ceiling, whispering, "At least Mom will get her medicine, that's all that matters." Right? He didn't notice the door creak open hours later. Didn't see Taehyung pause at the sight of him curled up in the dark. Taehyung stared silently. Why did this boy look so fragile? He shut the door without a word, but his heart, that cold, locked away heart, pulsed once. Hard. Even if it was fake, why does it feel so real to me? Jungkook. The sun filtered through the giant glass windows of the Kim mansion. Jungkook was already awake, quietly folding the couch blanket, trying not to disturb anything. He didn't belong here. Everything was too expensive, too clean, too cold. He made his way into the kitchen, planning to leave quietly for the hospital to check on his mother. But just as he grabbed the doorknob, a sharp voice stopped him. "Where do you think you're going this early?" Jungkook froze. Taehyung stood at the top of the staircase, shirt unbuttoned at the collar, hair tousled from sleep. He looked like a dream. But his words were daggers. "To the hospital," Jungkook said quietly. "My mom." "You don't need to go outside looking like a stray dog," Taehyung snapped. "Use my driver. I don't want tabloids publishing photos of my husband looking like he crawled out of a trash can." Jungkook clenched his jaw. That hurt more than it should have. But he nodded silently. "Hospital?" Jungkook sat by his mother's bedside, holding a weak hand. She smiled up at him. "You look so handsome in this suit, like a prince." He chuckled weakly. "Only the suit is rich, Mom," she frowned. "Don't say that. You deserve love too, Jungkook. Not just a life of surviving." Those words stayed with him the entire ride back. Kim Mansion, night. Jungkook stood by the balcony, the city lights shimmering below. Taehyung passed by with a glass of wine in hand, stopping for a moment. "Do you miss your real life that badly?" he asked, voice dry. Jungkook turned. "At least in my real life. I wasn't invisible." That silenced Taehyung. For the first time, he didn't know what to say. But later that night, when Jungkook started coughing, fevered and shivering, collapsing in the hallway, everything changed. Jungkook Taehyung rushed forward, catching him before he hit the floor. "You idiot, why didn't you say anything?" "Didn't want to bother you," Jungkook whispered through the heat of the fever. Taehyung cursed under his breath, lifting Jungkook into his arms like he weighed nothing. That night, the cold CEO stayed beside the poor boy he called his fake husband, wiping his sweat, giving him medicine, and staring at that fragile face. Something shifted. Taehyung couldn't deny it anymore. He cared. "He's just my husband in name, but why does his pain feel like it's mine?" Taehyung Jungkook woke up slowly. The silk sheets weren't his. The scent wasn't familiar. And yet, it was warm. His fever had broken, but his heart still felt heavy. Then he noticed it, a figure asleep beside the bed, head resting against the edge of the mattress, coat draped over his shoulder. Taehyung. Jungkook blinked. Why was he here? Why did he stay? Before he could process it, Taehyung stirred. Their eyes met. And for the first time, there was no coldness. No wall. Only silence. Heavy, aching silence. "You should have told me you were sick," Taehyung said softly, voice rough with sleep. "Why would you care?" Jungkook whispered. "I'm just your fake husband, right?" Taehyung stood and walked to the window. He looked out for a long time before speaking. "That's what I thought too," he admitted. "But when I saw you collapsed, burning up, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I've been trying to ignore it. Pretend you're just part of the contract." He turned around, eyes raw. "But every time you look away from me, it hurts." Jungkook's breath caught. "What are you saying?" Taehyung took a step closer. Then another. And finally stood in front of Jungkook. "I'm saying I don't want this to be fake anymore." He reached out. Gently, carefully. "I want to hold you like you belong to me. If you let me." Jungkook's lips trembled. "You don't have to pretend to care anymore." "I'm not pretending," Taehyung interrupted. "I care. I love you, Jungkook." And just like that, the walls fell. The distance dissolved. Jungkook stepped forward and melted into his arms. For the first time, he wasn't trembling from fear or cold. He was trembling because someone finally chose him. Not out of pity. Not for a deal. But for love. Taehyung held him tighter, burying his face in the crook of Jungkook's neck. "You're not invisible anymore. You're mine now, and I'm never letting you go." 1 month later, the once cold mansion was filled with laughter. Jungkook walked into the dining room in a cozy sweater, greeted with a kiss on the cheek. Taehyung wrapped an arm around his waist. "I cleared my schedule today. Let's go visit your mom together. Really anything for you, from fake vows to real feelings. I never knew love could find me like this, Jungkook."